are live. Yay.
We are. How about that music? Love that music.
I know, right? It's amazing. Okay, well, I'm going to give everyone a moment to get joined into our live.
Fantastic.
Really good. I think we're ready to go as far as lighting and everything is good. Audio is great. Yeah, I think that's good. I think we're good to go.
Works for me. Works for me.
Really quick, if this is your first time stopping by my channel, my name's
Biridiana
Morales with Signature Real Estate Group serving Southern California. Give me 1 second. Okay, I think we're good to go. Introducing my Kansas City partner. Woo! Really quick, we got that going on.
Yes.
Jeremy and Janie Snider. I have one half of the dynamic duo here. Jeremy.
You have the weaker half, the uglier half. So she's out making some business happen today, and I am here. I think most people, if we can guess based on the sign back here on where we're from Kansas City.
Kansas City. I love it. I love it. And so, Jeremy, I want to explain a little bit more about my California Exodus, I think is what everyone's been nicknaming it. So I am a part of Riverside County, and this goal of this whole video series is to help those that are leaving the great state of California.
Sure.
I'm located in Riverside County. We are located right next to San Diego, Los Angeles, and Orange County, which are three of the most beautiful counties in California, which I'm sure everyone knows. And during the thing we will not mention, where everyone was able to work remote, what we saw a lot of was people working remote. So now they have the option to move and live anywhere without having to deal with the commute. So we saw a giant migration of people coming from the big three counties and settling here in the beautiful Riverside County. And unfortunately, that caused a bit of a price influx. A lot of people in Riverside County got priced out. And I'm sure a lot of people dealt with that during this pandemic.
Sure.
And so what I saw a lot of was people in my home county migrating to other states. So I wanted to connect them with amazing agents from all over the states. Yeah.
That's us.
So I set out to find the best agents, in my opinion, people that I could relate to via YouTube, via referrals, and I love YouTube. You know how much I love YouTube.
I do.
Yeah, so can you tell me a little bit more about yourself? Are you originally from Kansas City, yourself and your wife?
We are. I grew up, a lot of people, when they hear about Kansas City, they'll always ask, oh, Kansas City, Kansas? Or Kansas City, Missouri. When you think of Kansas City and you think of all the images and you think of the Chiefs and the Royals and the Christmas lights in Kansas City, that's all on the Kansas City, Missouri side.
Right.
I live on the Kansas side, actually in a county called Johnson County, in a town called Overland Park, the #1 place to buy a home and raise a family, according to niche.com. So I've been here most of my life. I did go to school, college in Indiana. After graduating there, I lived in Wichita, Kansas, which is about 3 hours south of Kansas City. I was there for about 10 years, and then I came up to Kansas City. I was in the radio advertising industry for about 23 years.
You have a voice for it, I'll tell you that.
Well, I was in sales. People said I have a face for radio, as we can see here. And then I met my wife. She grew up in Independence, Missouri. Independence is just east of Kansas City. When you think of Arrowhead Stadium or Kauffman Stadium where the Royals play, that's Independence. And she grew up there. And then we got married and we moved to Overland Park. She'd been in real estate forever, and I joined her about 5 years. We worked for Keller Williams Realty Partners, the largest single office brokerage in the Kansas City area, and we're just loving it and helping people sell their home and buy new homes, and helping them move out of state if they need to, and helping people buy homes in Kansas City as well.
have you been working with a lot of Californians or just people relocating from other states, moving to Kansas City or Overland Park?
Well, earlier this summer, I did help a family move from California into Kansas City. We helped a family that we got referred from a neighbor in our neighborhood
Oh, wow.
move from Cincinnati, and
Mhm.
that's the way the market is right now. What we were having to do is obviously you'd see everything online, and we'd set them up with the auto search, and then they go, "Hey, I like this house. I'd like to go see it." And so we go there with our phone, and you FaceTime them and you walk them through, and they would say, "Oh, can I go see that master bedroom again? Oh, can you take me back into the basement? I want to see how big that office is." So we were doing a lot of FaceTiming with people from out of state. The
Right.
good news with stuff online is our MLS, the Heartland MLS. You can load up to 99 pictures.
Oh,
That's
wow.
an extreme number of pictures for a home, but still you can do a lot, and we're able
Yeah,
to help people if they say, "Man, that's a beautiful home." I go, "Yes, it is, but it backs to the highway, a railroad track, and a sanitation plant." And so we're
exactly.
able to help them know the areas, uh, and know the schools, know what's around there.
And that's why I want to connect them with great agents because on
Yeah.
paper you could see, 5 stars, 2,000
Hmm.
ratings, but if they're not tech savvy, it might make the whole live streaming, FaceTiming thing, it might set you back a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I feel like when you're moving cross country, you're moving your children, everything, you need to have an agent that is reliable and knows how to work these things.
You bet. Yeah. And we
Yeah.
do that all the time.
So let's talk about what it's like there. So I'm in the Temecula Valley portion of Riverside
Okay.
County. We're in southern Riverside County in the Temecula
Okay.
Valley. We are known as like the suburbs area. So we have a lot of for people that are commuters. They have the commuters, they have
Okay.
their nice little suburban areas, their high rated schools. I think the average price last month was around 640. So we are great price. That sounds like yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on the city. Temecula itself is around 800-ish.
Okay.
But tell me a little bit more about what kind of homes you're looking at as far as Overland Park and
Yep.
Kansas City, kind of differentiate between the two a little bit.
Sure. Well, most realtors are gonna focus on an area. Yeah, I'm licensed. I can sell anybody a house anywhere in Kansas and anywhere in Missouri, but that's ridiculous because I can't. I don't know anything about St. Louis. I don't know anything about Wichita to sell a home. And so even here in Kansas City, we really focus in on Overland Park. If someone's wanting, somewhere a lot further on the edges of the metro, we sometimes refer.
Right.
But we know Lee Summit very well. We know Independence. We know Kansas City. But our big focus is Overland Park, and that's in Johnson County. So if you take a look at a map, you'll see Overland Park, and you can zoom in. I just happened to pull up some the
Yeah.
latest stats from the
Go ahead.
Kansas City Regional Association of Realtors. The year to date, the average home price is $405,000, and that's up 11% from this time last year. And then days on market is 17, and that's in Johnson County. Uh, and I think we're seeing the same stuff around the country. We helped a family buy a home here recently that had been on the market for 2 weeks, and we were going, what's
What's
wrong
wrong
with it?
with it?
What's wrong with nothing was wrong with it at all. It's I think the normalizing of the market. It did back to a busier street, not necessarily a busy street, but the yard was massive. You could have put 2 football fields
Oh, wow.
in the yard, and it was fine. They went under contract and no problems at
And
all.
that's what I feel like a lot of buyers and sellers. I feel like the last 2 years, the expectations were so distorted about
Yep.
the market. And I'm like, no, this is what we were experienced agents were working with before
Yeah.
COVID. I'm like, this is a corrected, relaxed market. It was just COVID was it was a whole nother ballpark.
Sure. Yeah.
And now we're back to experienced agents having to work to sell the house. You have, on my end, negotiations going on again, which is beautiful for a lot of buyers.
Yeah.
You're not like looking at one picture of a toilet going, all right, are we putting 30 or 40 over ask? What would you like?
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
It's crazy. So
no, I chuckle when you were talking about what the average price in your county is. There was an article in the Kansas City Star last year, and it talked about Johnson County, and the average home price for the first time ever had gone over $400,000. And a lot of people are going, "Oh my word, that's so expensive. How is anyone going to afford a home?" And I'm sitting here going, my friends in California, my friends in Dallas, my friends down in Florida, they're looking at these prices going, "Oh, I'd like to buy a nice 3,000 square foot home, that's 4 bedrooms and a finished basement in that price range."
Deal. And basement.
Yeah, finished.
Here, so
yeah, so
it is. I don't know. I born and raised in Southern California, so I don't see a lot of basements, and when I do, I get giddy. And you throw a basement for that price, that's a bonus room to me.
Yeah,
it is amazing. And like you were saying, average price being $640 during the height of the market. We had a lot of people in LA selling their little condos for like $900,000 and coming over here about paying over $100,000 over asking, and they're like, "This is still a steal because I get such a big house," and it is just, it's ridiculous. But now things have slowed down.
Sure. Yeah. And we've had over the last several years, when you talk about companies who are saying, "Hey, you can work from home," we had a bunch of people reaching out to us, interestingly, mainly from the East Coast, not so many from the West Coast. I think a lot of that is because the weather on the West Coast is a lot nicer. And I think on the East Coast, people who are living a lot closer together, people would call and say, "Hey, my wife is from the Midwest, and so since I can work from home now, hey, I can sell my small home here in New Jersey, and I can get a nice big house with a big yard, a 3-car garage, good schools, and be fine."
Yeah, exactly. Now, with that said, let's talk about cost of living. Now, California is, of course, notorious for having an extremely high cost of living.
Yep.
Gas prices went down. Last time we spoke, they were around 7. Yesterday, it filled up for $5.90, and I was so excited. I have not seen it down to the 5s for so long, so I'm like, it's not $7 anymore. What are gas prices over there?
Gas prices are going to be between 3 and 4. As we were joking about when we were talking the other day. I drive a Tesla, so I'm not focused on gas prices, but typically probably 325 to 350 is what we're seeing per gallon here in Kansas City.
Not too bad. Yeah, I know I drive a hybrid and it still hurts.
Yeah, there's with cost of living, housing is very reasonable. There's not a lot of public transportation. I mean, there is public transportation, but not to the degree that there'd be in like a New York City.
Right.
So most of the people here are driving. I used to be in radio advertising, so we would always we'd keep an eye on amount of drive time, and people are spending maybe 15 to 20 minutes in their car. But even if they live here in Overland Park and they work downtown, that's in traffic a 23-minute drive. And I'm sure people from LA or from Dallas are going, "Oh my God, I'd love that." People in Chicago who are spending hours just getting to work.
Yeah, I think a 20-minute commute is like ideal. That's like, that's nothing. That's a trip to the grocery store, depending on where you live. Oh my goodness. And then, of course, property taxes. Generally, rule of thumb is 1.25. You include the 1% base, 25.25% for the variables. But I've seen property taxes go up 2 to 3%. It always depends on what area you're looking into.
Sure.
The newer areas, their Melrose and assessments, I've seen them go up to 9 to 12 for the fancier areas.
Sure.
The older areas, you're looking anywhere from like maybe 1,000 to 2,000. So it just depends.
Okay. Yeah.
What else did I want to talk about? Car registration is another one.
Sure.
I don't know how it is over there. Over here, I've seen people register their trucks. I'm in the truck area where everyone is driving. You're either in a Tesla or you're in a truck. There's
Okay.
there's no.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. We're
And
in the Midwest. We got a lot of F-150s here.
oh yeah, and I've seen people register their cars for $900 plus. It just depends, of course, on the the car.
If they're brand new, and then every year when you get your tax renewal, the price goes down. I've got our daughter has a 2005 Toyota Camry, which was one of our old cars, and those taxes came in. I think it was less than $100.
Oh wow!
But the car's an 05, been around a long time.
Right.
Been around a long time. Yeah.
And of course, we have a required smock test every other year. Do you guys have something similar that Californians can expect to pay?
No, there's nothing like that. From a tax standpoint, I know in Kansas City, in Jackson County, which is the county that Kansas City, Missouri, is in, and Independence, Missouri, there is a 1% earnings tax. So if you happen to live in Overland Park but work in Jackson County, 1% of your income will go to pay that earnings tax.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's something different that you haven't heard about a lot.
We get taxed for everything, so
the way it goes,
Right. And of course, is there anything else you wanted to talk about that might set Kansas City aside as far as cost of living?
Well, the schools are fantastic. People moving into Kansas City, particularly Overland Park, they're going to see the Blue Valley School District, which is one of the premier districts, in the state, in the region, in the country. It always shows up on, top 10 lists. There's also the Shawnee Mission School District, which is fantastic. The Olathe School District is fantastic. There are parts of the urban areas of Kansas City where you might need to go to private school just because the public schools aren't rated as high as others. Right. And so if you choose to have your children go to private school, that can cost several $1,000s a semester. And that's a cost of living.
And I feel like Overland Park is very comparable to my area, the Marietta Temecula area. You have the top-rated schools, suburbs, a lot of people commuting just because of the school district. So I feel like it is very comparable.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about something very vain on my side, weather. We were talking about Southern California. I only know, 90-degree weather. It goes low, 60. I'm not too vain. I just like to keep an eye out for my buyers because a lot of them move out not knowing what to expect. I've heard, if you watched my Colorado episode, we had people that moved and they were unaware of what to expect. And, Colorado mountains, what do buyers expect on your neck of the woods? What do seasons look like?
Oh, the seasons look wonderful. It's funny. I've talked to people. A good friend of mine, when I had grown up in Florida, gotten married, a long time ago, moved up to Kansas, got divorced, and stayed in Kansas. And he said, and I asked, why did you not move back to Florida? And he said, because Kansas has the 4 seasons. And I said, well, exactly. Why did you not? And he goes, you don't understand how nice it is to have winter and have fall and spring and summer. And this is the time of year in Kansas City. The other day I was wearing a coat and a stocking cap and gloves. And today I would be fine outside in a sweatshirt and a pair of shorts.
Right.
And I pulled up something, see if I can have it here on, hold on. The historical highs, the highest temperature ever recorded in Kansas City was 113 degrees. That was on August 14th, 1936.
Okay.
No, I was not alive then. And the lowest temperature ever recorded was negative 23 degrees Fahrenheit. And that was December 23rd, 1989. And yes, I was alive then. So,
I like, yeah, good.
What's interesting with the winters is we'll have one year where the winter is just horrible. Mm-hmm. And you're just, it's just cold and lots of snow. And then the next year, the winter is incredibly mild. Maybe it snows once. Maybe it snows where you just get a dusting.
Right.
There are times of year where in the morning you drive to work with the coat, and then when you're home at the end of the day, you don't need the coat.
Right. And I like discussing this because for my clients that are moving cross country, I like to let them know this is what it's going to look like when you have all of your items inside of that moving truck.
Yep.
What is it going to look like driving across multiple states? What is it that you would recommend them keeping an eye out on when moving cross country? Do they need to have chains on their tires? Can they expect road closures if they're moving in the middle of winter? What can they expect?
Well, it depends on how they're moving. I mean, if they're moving from California and they're driving across, this country, I know in Western Kansas, my daughter grew up in Western Kansas, and they would have barricades on the highway in bad weather. So that's the highway patrol was saying, you got to pull off. You have to pull off the road. You're not going any further. We're not going to come, rescue you,
Right.
in terrible weather. So from a moving standpoint, if you're driving, just try to do it, not during the winter months, just, because you don't know what it's going to be. But oftentimes, the move's dictated for you. Your company said, no, hey, we need you here on January 7th.
Right.
And so you can fly and have the movers bring your stuff.
Mhm.
Summertime, it gets hot. Worse than that, it gets humid, which is moisture in the air. So you'll be outside and you'll just be sweating
Right.
a lot just because it's so humid. And those people that have a lot of hair, unlike me, their hair will, just get real poofy.
Right. Okay. And of course, here in Southern California, we had a lot of dry heat, as you're saying. Your high was
Yeah.
113. You said that's the
Yes.
average summer on our end. I feel like the summer wasn't too bad. We had a few days where it was triple digits, but it's nothing too bad. So I feel like
Yeah.
very comparable in the summer, except for that humidity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about the home buying process
Okay.
really quick. So if I get a client and they want to move cross country, of course,
Yep.
we have the options on how to sell, but the home selling process over here, you list your house, you get under contract, the buyer has a 17-day contingency period to get everything out of the way, and it's usually a 30-day escrow.
Okay.
How does it look like when they're buying with you?
When they're buying, if they're buying cash, and cash is king, you can close in as quick as 14 days.
Okay.
Most people who are doing loan can take anywhere from 45 to 60 days. So you go under contract on the house. You have 10 days to do inspections, and that you're going to look at the house and make sure the roof is fine. The mechanicals are fine. There's nothing major. And then if you find something that needs to be taken care of, then you negotiate that. And then you get it's like, for example, we just went under contract with some clients, and we said, I know we've been talking a lot the last 10 days. We're not going to be talking a whole lot now because it's just kind of waiting and getting the bank to do all their stuff.
Right. And then you just get everything ready to move cross country after
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Are you there during the home inspection? Do you have an assistant, or does your wife take over when the
inspection? Generally the wife, she's I have her, do a lot of the contract negotiation. She's there at inspection. She reads through all the reports and she goes, okay, the inspection said these 35 things, 30 of them are things you can do yourself.
Yeah.
3 of them are not that big, but hey, this 1 or this 2, we might need to go back and talk to the sellers and see, or the buyers, and see if we can negotiate this out.
Of course. And then do you have any tips for Californians that are looking to relocate in general to Kansas City, or anyone looking to relocate to Kansas City?
Any kind of tip, realtor, do a lot of research, obviously, with the internet, you can, read a lot, find out a lot of stuff. You can watch a lot of videos to find out what area of town a a challenge, if I may say that, with people
Right.
who are relocating is, oh, I'm moving from California to Kansas City, and they're wide open. It's like, well, maybe I'll look at this area or this area or this area. Oh, do we want to live in a condo downtown Kansas City, or do we want to live on some acreage?
Right.
And that can be challenging as a realtor, because I'll show this stuff to you, but let's kind of focus. Let's
Right.
figure out what you want.
Yes,
and what's
as a
good.
realtor, you need to figure that out.
Yeah, because driving all over town, it takes an hour to get from one side of Kansas City to the other,
Right.
in the full metro. And maybe if you're coming to town, so if you're taking a new job here, or you're deciding to move here for whatever reason, come in and just drive around. Go check out Overland Park. Go check out Lee Summit. Go check out Parkville. Check out Olathe to see what area of town you like.
Which one?
And then once you have that, hey, then you can connect with the realtor and say, hey, man, I really like, Overland Park, and Olathe and Lenexa. And here's my price. Here are some homes I'd like to look at.
Exactly. And my tips for anyone relocating to another state, if possible, of course, is to take a vacation there, possibly 4 weeks, because there's so many different variables. And you don't know if you like a city, if the traffic is going to be offsetting. You don't know what it's like in the mornings and afternoons, if it smells weird at a certain time of day. I don't know. Or if you watched my Colorado episode, again, it's how you do with the weather. We had someone move to Colorado, and she didn't remember that it's an altitude issue. So she was there. She lived there for a year, and then she moved back for medical reasons.
Yeah. Interesting. I have some friends who live in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and there is a breakfast cereal manufacturing plant up there. And when you're driving, you'd be able to smell, and you'd go, oh, they're making this cereal today. They're making this cereal today. Right. Years ago, downtown Kansas City, there was a Folgers coffee plant. And so some morning you'd be driving to work and go, oh, I smell that coffee. I love it. I love it.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So we have a few people here on the live. Do we have any questions? Really quick, I do want to highlight Janie Snider and your wife. You do have a YouTube page for anyone that is interested in looking.
We do.
You have Kansas City Real Estate.
Yep. YouTube.com/Kansas City Real Estate. And we've taken our channel over the last several years and have just really brought it down. We're about as hyper local as you can get. We do a lot of events in our neighborhood. We got 1,000 homes in our neighborhood. So you're gonna see a lot of the newer stuff is some of the folks in the neighborhood, some of the business owners in the neighborhood. And I know there are some channels out there where they talk about every city available in Kansas City, and we have decided we're gonna really uber focus in this area. But you get an idea.
You want to connect with somebody that actually knows about the area. So if I show you this beautiful video clip, I know that you know exactly where it's at. I know
that's Union Station. Yeah,
exactly. You know Union Station. You know the history behind it. You can tell me about the mob tours and everything.
And you see this Kansas City thing right here. There we go. It's hard to do that. This is a Liberty Memorial, which that video you showed, if you were standing in front looking the other way, you'd see the Liberty Memorial. The Liberty Memorial is the only monument in the United States solely dedicated to World War I.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, so I like to connect my buyers with good people that are aware of everything going on in their area. I love watching your YouTube videos where you describe the events and different things that you do within your community.
Sure.
So I just commend you, give you a round of applause to you and your wife for being just amazing people.
Thank you.
Well, if we don't have any questions for you, Jeremy, that's all I have.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for joining. Hold on, I need to go back to your beautiful banner so people can see your beautiful wife again. Okay, guys, go ahead and click on the description below. Check out Jeremy and Janie, Kansas City Real Estate. And if you have not done so yet, like and subscribe to both. I will talk to you. Oh, let me see how I go back. I love lives.
and I've got some of this coming your way. This is a bottle of Gates barbecue sauce. People who know Kansas City know it for barbecue. Probably the best barbecue in the country, much better than Texas barbecue.
Oh.
Definitely much better than Carolina barbecue. So I'm going to be sending some of this to you. And then this other picture right here with the airplane, that is a coffee company in Kansas City called the Roastery. I also have a small bag of Kansas City coffee, and that'll be coming in the mail for you here in the next few weeks, Birdie.
Oh, lovely. I can't wait. I'll send you some of my local Wildomar coffee. We have some local brewers coffee beans.
Nice.
Gosh, I'm excited now.
Excellent. And I think everyone knows Kansas City. They know Patrick Mahomes. He's going to be winning the Super Bowl this year. Ironic, we're talking today. The Chiefs this weekend are playing the 49ers, a team out of California.
California. I'll be on the phone with you. All right, Jeremy. Well, thank you so much for joining us. You have a good
You're welcome.
day. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.